Getting set to kick off week 1 in the NFL. Here's the slate beginning Thursday with the Cowboys and Eagles and running all the way through to Vikings, Bears Monday night. Of course, we have a full slate, a doubleheader on CBS at 1 and 4:25 Eastern time on Sunday. Pete Prisco is here to give us his most overrated and his most underrated teams. You're going to pick 2 of each. Now, are these the 2 most overrated teams in your opinion, or are you just saying that they're overrated?
I'm saying they're overrated.
You're not saying they're the most overrated?
Yeah, they're the most overrated.
Okay, let's start then with the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
How much different are they outside of the fact that the obvious change, J.J. McCarthy taking over for Sam Darnold?
Well, that's pretty big of a change. And I'm not a big believer in J.J. McCarthy right away. I had reservations about him coming out. I still have reservations about him. There was some conflicting reports coming out of Minnesota that he was okay this summer, not great. So I have to see it to believe it, and that's why I think they're a little bit overrated. Everybody just automatically assumes Kevin O'Connell, the quarterback whisperer, fix Sam Darnold. He'll make J.J. McCarthy automatically become a big-time player. I have to see it to believe it, and I have my doubts about it.
All right, taking a look at the best career winning percentage as a quarterback. J.J. McCarthy was great in college, but for the most part, he turned around and handed the ball off to his running backs in a power run game. But at the same time, think back to a year ago. What did we really expect from this Vikings team a year ago with Sam Darnold? I don't think we expected a lot.
No, and look, a lot of things went right for him. I think they've improved in some areas. There's some concern at wide receiver. Jefferson's banged up right now. They're not going to have Addison. They brought Thielen back, so there's concerns there. I just think, look, are they going to be a decent team? Sure. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, and that's why I think they're overrated, because a lot of people see them maybe winning the division and pushing the Lions and the Packers in the division. I don't.
Boy, really tough division there with what the Lions have been doing and what the Packers just did with Micah Parsons as well. I know the Packers are your Super Bowl pick this season. Pete Prisco's next most overrated team in the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, they're not the favorites in the NFC South, but I am surprised to see how close their odds are to the favorites from Tampa.
Me too. And look, there's a lot to like about Michael Penix and his growth, and I think he's going to be much better even than he was a year ago in the time that he played. That's natural for a guy I think is going to be a really good quarterback. But they have concerns, and one of them being Caleb McGarry, the right tackle, is not there. A big part of what they do is run the football. When McGarry's not there, he's one of their best run blockers. That's going to be a problem for him. Flip it over to the other side of the ball. You look at their secondary. There's cornerback concerns, no doubt about it. But they figured they could upgrade their pass rush by drafting 2 guys in the first round. They actually made a trade to go get one of them, and neither one of them is starting right away. And so that's a little bit of a concern. And so there are issues with the Falcons. I just think that this might be a team that's a year away. I think Penix will grow, but I'm worried about the offensive line. I'm worried about the defense in a lot of ways. So I think the Bucs are the team to beat in that division, and I think they'll run away with it in that division.
Do you think we see Kirk Cousins at all this season in a Falcons uniform in the game? I know he might be on the sideline, but in the game.
Unless Penix gets hurt, and nor should you. There's no way he should be playing. If he's playing because of performance by Michael Penix, then you got a real problem. If he's playing for injury, that I would understand. But as far as performance, no way he should get the field.
Have they surrounded Penix with enough talent?
Well, losing your right tackle is big. I mean, they're down to a third-team right tackle, and anytime you play with a third-team right tackle, that's going to be a problem. Kyle Pitts, is he going to show up? Drake London's a good player. Mooney's been hurt. Mooney's been hurt the entire summer, so there are issues. They're turning hand to Robinson. I get it. But McGarry not being there is going to be impactful in the run game.
All right, so the 2 most overrated teams, according to Pete Prisco, the Falcons and the Vikings. Let's get to your 2 most underrated teams. And the first one's the Dallas Cowboys here. A lot of people just completely writing them off because of the Micah Parsons trade.
I wouldn't do that, in large part because I think offensively they're going to be really good. The last time we saw Dak Prescott play full season, he led the league in touchdown passes. He's now added George Pickens on the other side of C.D. Lamb. They're going to be explosive on offense. They have a good tight end. The offensive line made up a lot of high draft picks and young players. They'll mesh together. They're good football players, and we saw that start to happen last year. So I think offensively, who's going to run the ball? Look, by some point during the season, Jaden Blue will be their lead running back, and I think he should be. He's an explosive player. They're going to be dynamic on offense. I think they're going to score a lot of points. Flip it to the defense. Okay, Micah Parsons isn't there. But they're going to be better against the run. They were terrible in run defense. I think getting Kenny Clark will help their run defense. That'll help whoever does rush the passer, whether it's, the young guys, somebody's got to emerge, but they will be able to rush the passer because they're going to stop the run more. And then in the secondary, look, getting Diggs back is enormous for them. Bland and Diggs together, good combination. So I don't think they're going to be what everybody else thinks they're going to be, which is taking a big step back. It's kind of chic and trendy to bash on the Cowboys right now, and you'd be misguided if you do, because I think that offense is going to be really good.
Win total is 7.5, which is as low as it's been in over 20 years, 2003.
They're a playoff team. They will be a playoff.
So?
Yes, they'll be a playoff team.
What's the ceiling? Can they compete in the NFC for a championship?
I don't think they can compete for a championship, but I think they're going to compete for a playoff spot and make it. I think ultimately they make it.
Wow, okay. Well, we'll see them on Thursday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll see how they do in that game. They're the biggest underdog of the weekend in Week 1, 8.5-point underdogs in that game. Pete Prisco's next most underrated team in the NFL is also in the NFC, and it's a team that went to 3 straight NFC championship games before really falling off last season because of injuries, and it's the 49ers.
It's hard to believe I'm saying this about them, that they're underrated, but going into this season, they kind of are. And people are just pushing them aside, and they shouldn't. They still have stars, and stars matter in this league. McCaffrey's healthy, star. Trent Williams healthy, star. The quarterback, some people will say he's a star. Not quite there yet, but he's a really good player. Kittle is a star at tight end. Bosa's a star rushing the passer, and Fred Warner's a star playing linebacker. You're still star loaded. Yeah, there's some depth problems, and that happens when you pay stars. But you got to hope like heck you don't have the injuries you had last year. If they have the injuries they had last year, not going to be a good team. If they don't, they're going to be a division winner and be a playoff team that nobody's going to want to play.
Would you say there's more or less pressure on Brock Purdy this year now that he has the contract compared to years past when he was trying to earn it?
I think there's less. You got the money, but more than that, last year was a pressure-packed year for him. He lost all those guys and had to prove to people that he could carry the team, and he did. And I think that's why he ultimately got paid. Quarterbacks who respond in moments where it's not everything isn't perfect, those are the guys you want to pay. And he did it last year. He did a really nice job playing quarterback for a team that was depleted in a lot of areas, and that shows people and the 49ers that he could be their long-term answer. So I think the questions about him are in the past. I think he goes out and plays well. I think this team plays well.
49ers start the season on the road in Seattle against the Seahawks. They are the favorites to win the NFC West. That's Pete Prisco with us here. He's got the Niners in his top 10 in his preseason power rankings, which you can find at cbssports.com. We've got a doubleheader on CBS and Paramount Plus Sunday beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Our NFL Today and NFL Today Plus crews will be at Lambeau ahead of Lions-Packers, which kicks off at 4:25 Eastern.